Fox News at 9. A house call by police takes an unexpected, violent turn. Plus, equal pay for equal work, the new state push for parity. But first, it's a dangerous job, but a new initiative aims to save lives in the line of duty.
This is West Dakota Fox News at 9 with Molly Martinez and meteorologist Henry Blakes. Your first news of the night starts right now on West Dakota Fox News at 9.
Good evening, I'm Molly Martinez. For law enforcement, every day is a possibility that your life will be on the line. Law enforcement deaths have not dipped below 100 per year since 1943. But now there's a program to drive that number down. Daniela Hurtado shows us one story being used as a cautionary tale.
Kimberly Schluss says her two daughters were killed by an Illinois trooper going 126 miles per hour a day after Thanksgiving. She says talking about their story is therapeutic. A tragic accident leaving a grieving family with limited answers.
They knew that the officer that killed them was driving to a crash, but they didn't realize that he had been on his phone. They didn't realize he'd been on his computer. They didn't realize the speed he'd hit them. They didn't realize that all of those pieces led to Jessica and Kelly's deaths, and this was a preventable crash, and it didn't have to happen.
Jessica was 18 and Kelly 13 when they were driving home, and suddenly...
And he crossed the median after losing control and crashed into my girls and killing them both.
She shares their story to honor their lives and help avoid this moving forward.
A story that needs to be told and a story that needs to be heard by law enforcement.
Schlo hopes she's making her daughters proud.
Those were my girls. They're not just two highway statistics from 2007. They had, hopes and dreams, and they had a great life in front of them that was cut short, that didn't need to be cut short.
She says she will continue to tell their story. Her story is just one of the many told this week at the Below 100 event. The program aims to teach law enforcement to be more safe while on duty and to watch their speed.
Video of a Minot airman surprising his son with a special homecoming is going viral tonight. Senior Master Sergeant Mark Kofelt was supposed to return home with the 69th Bomb Squadron Tuesday, but his return was delayed by a day. Yesterday afternoon, Alicia Kofelt had 8-year-old Ronan open up a large gift. What happens next is heartwarming. Take a look.
Surprise.
Surprise?
It's all this set.
So far this year, there have been 32 counterfeit cases in Bismarck. Police say 20 of those involved $100 bills. Just yesterday, counterfeit bills were passed at 3 different businesses in our area.
Well, just be aware that somebody's passing this funny money around, and it's $100 bills, and you just got to take a minute to look at it. And obviously it says for motion picture use only on the front and on the back.
Wishina says to test your bills and to take a better look at money being handed to you. Speaking of fraud, a North Dakota judge has denied a woman's request to have her evidence suppressed in a Jamaican lottery scam trial. Melinda Bolgen of Rhode Island is accused of funneling money between the U.S. and Jamaica through her airline job. Prosecutors say she was not a minor player in the scam at all. At least 90 Americans lost a total of nearly $6 million. Well, new census data shows that in North Dakota, on average, men are paid 37% more than women. Unfortunate factors that play into that include number of hours worked, motherhood, and opportunity.
You can't use census the data that's available to really determine if there is a difference in rate of pay. We know there from data that men work more hours. They tend to travel earlier. They're also found in different occupations than we find in women.
Iverson also adds that nationwide, 93% of all workplace deaths in 2016 were men. When it comes to land distribution and land ownership, North Dakota property laws can be hard to navigate. The Department of Mineral Resources, along with Wenck Associates, put a team together to figure out what constitutes private property along the Missouri River, from Newtown to Williston. Maddie Jelseth explains. Speaking of property, new home buyers in Mandan have been taking advantage of a tax exemption for up to $75,000 of the home's value for the first 2 years. but that exemption will soon be rolled back. John Salling explains why. In education news, 6 of the 7 largest school districts in North Dakota will have new superintendents next year. Andrew Horn shows us how Dickinson is tackling the challenge.
Dickinson Public Schools has narrowed their choice down to 2 candidates for the superintendent position. Both of them came out to Dickinson Middle School to make their pitch to the public on why they should be hired. Parents, teachers, and school board members spent more than 2 hours questioning Dr. Sean Hocker and Matthew Cheeseman about bullying, teaching methods, and mental health in schools. Both candidates were happy with the turnout from the community.
Dickinson seems to be a community that cares about kids. It seems to be a community that has handled the previous boom and bust cycles very well, and that's the attractive part.
They're advocates for their children. They sincerely want to understand what the leadership change will look like. They want to understand if new leadership will still be invested specifically in their students.
I spoke with 2 school board members who said they could offer the job as early as tomorrow. Reporting in Dickinson, I'm Andrew Horn, West Dakota Fox.
Also in school news, Light of Christ Catholic Schools in Bismarck has received $41 million in pledges to build the new St. Mary's High School. However, the school system needs the money up front to cover construction costs. It's now applying for municipal bonds from Wilton, Lincoln, Linton, and Hazleton.
It's a way that they can kind of share in this project without being on the line for anything, so to speak. But also they're able to support us through the issuance of the bonds. Again, I think it's a win-win. It brings a little bit more of North Dakota into this project.
The bonds are bought by a bank coalition and are not available for public purchase. Wild video out of Texas. Police are called to this house after a car crashes into it and bam, the house explodes. According to police, the crash severed a primary gas line that supplied the residents. The driver of the car that crashed was arrested on scene for driving without a driver's license. And firefighters battle a raging 2-alarm fire in downtown Phoenix early this morning. Crews were called out at about 3:40 a.m. for the fire burning in a vacant warehouse. Officials say the flames had burned through the roof, and by the time they arrived, leading firefighters had to use extra caution to avoid a building collapse. Smoke from the blaze could be seen from miles away. No word yet on what caused that fire. One person is dead after a radio tower collapses in Missouri. It collapsed as 6 people were working on it during routine maintenance. The man who died was on the ground. 3 others were transported to a local hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. And power is coming back on in Puerto Rico, one day after a massive blackout impacted the entire island. About 70% of customers now have power restored. That's about 1.1 million homes and businesses. Officials said a contractor removing a fallen tower Wednesday caused the blackout. The famous Fearless Girl statue is on the move and has found a permanent home across the street from the New York Stock Exchange. The State Street Global Advisors put up the statue in March of 2017 on the eve of International Women's Day to call attention to their initiative to increase the number of women on corporate boards. The Fearless Girl statue will be moved by the end of the year. And the U.S. Senate floor is now kid-friendly. The Senate unanimously passed a resolution Wednesday night allowing lawmakers to bring their babies onto the floor during voting. Senator Tammy Duckworth introduced the resolution after giving birth to a baby girl earlier this month. The Illinois Democrat is the first sitting senator to give birth while in office. And the famous pharma bro, Martin Shkreli, is headed to federal prison. You may remember him for jacking up the price of a life-saving drug by 5,000%. Shkreli was sentenced to 7 years in prison for securities fraud and fined $75,000. According to the prison's handbook, there are no bars or locks on rooms. And a major bump stock manufacturer is set to shut down production next month. Slide Fire Solutions recently announcing that it will stop taking orders for its products and shut down its website on Sunday, May 20th. Bump stocks are firearm accessories that enable semi-automatic weapons to fire like machine guns. The announcement comes after a Justice Department rule that will likely ban bump stocks in the near future. And more fallout today surrounding an alleged student fight club in Connecticut. State police are now charging 3 members of the Montville Public School District in connection with the student fight club. The incident came to light last week when former substitute teacher Ryan Fish was arrested and charged for allegedly overseeing fights between students. Josh, they broke the first rule of Fight Club.
They did. They spoke about it.
That's good now. I guess they shouldn't.
How
be
many
having
rules were there, Molly?
Child Fight Club. There were too many, but I only remember the first
four,
one.
if I remember right.
How's the weather looking?
Hey, it's looking fantastic. At least we're seeing a warmer end to the April compared to what we saw for the first few weeks of the month.
Welcome back. Starbucks is in damage control mode after a viral incident last week at a Philadelphia store. A pair of black men were arrested for trespassing, sparking claims of racism. Employees will now undergo bias training, but is it enough? Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard reports.
Starbucks CEO Kevin Johnson admits the company made a mistake.
What happened in our store that resulted in the arrest of these two young men was reprehensible. Shouldn't have happened.
Johnson is expressing regret over a store manager calling 911 on a pair of black men. They had been denied bathroom use and refused to leave, insisting they were waiting for a friend.
The call to the police and what unfolded was wrong.
The CEO has met with the two men, saying they had a productive dialogue. Still, the About Face has done little to calm allegations of racism or the angry protests. According to YouGov, consumer perception or buzz score has fallen from 13 to -8, a drop of 21 points in just 4 days. The coffee giant is losing more than just consumer confidence. Starbucks is closing 8,000 stores in late May for an afternoon of racial training, including unconscious bias. The lost revenue could top $10 million. But some customers applaud Starbucks for taking responsibility instead of placing blame.
It's fantastic. I'll tell you why. Because they didn't put the onus on the employee. They didn't say, we hired a bad egg. They said, we failed.
All companies make mistakes. Great companies learn from those mistakes and take the appropriate actions.
Well, they could be Bed Bath & Beyond saving. The retailer's stocks have hit a 10-year low, plunging more than 18%. The reason, an excess number of stores struggle to sell attractive products. Bed Bath & Beyond operates a series of stores under different names, but has not been able to generate enough sales. Now over to something also Bed Bath & Beyond our control, the weather.
It absolutely is, but at least out of control. We do have at least warmer temperatures to speak about, Molly. We do have temperatures tonight dropping to near the freezing mark. Light wind for the most part, a little bit breezy across southwestern North Dakota. Tomorrow, temperatures around 50, especially across southwestern portions near Dickinson, 53, but a high of 56, Bismarck 59 in Wilson. And let's take a look at that 7-day forecast. Mid-60s this weekend and near 70 by Thursday, so I think we might be able to put away the snow shovels finally.
Oh man, no more snow?
I'm thinking so.
Don't make promises
the way it
you
looks
can't
so
keep.
far.
I've been burned before. We'll see you tomorrow.